You think I'm wearing this out?
I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. It's Wednesday, August 5th, 2015, and we are here to have an executive session, and I'm going to read us an executive session. The board may come out of executive session and make a decision today. The Board of Commissioners will meet in executive session to consult with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. This executive session is held pursuant to ORS 192-6602H, which allows the Board of Commissioners to meet in executive session for the purposes listed above. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decisions may be made in executive session, and we are reserving the right to come back in public session.
And the court.
I'd like to call us back into regular session here for executive session, and I'm going to jump back in the agenda a little bit. We did advertise at the opportunity for public comment today, and I wanted to ask if there's anybody here who'd like to address the board. Seeing none, is there any commissioner's response to public comments or other remonstrance? Seeing none, then we will move on to other business, which is we have Order 1508-0501 in front of us in the matter of authorizing a settlement agreement in the district court case Green versus Lane County et al. My understanding is this is now available on our website for view, so I'm not going to read it word for word here in public. It's basically authorizing the chair of the Lane County Board of Commissioners authority to enter into a settlement agreement in the amount of $400,000 in the matter of Green versus Lane County. And so if there's any questions for legal counsel before we move to a motion?
I know that we've had a thorough review of the proposed settlement agreement, but I just wanted Mr. Dingle to identify the paragraph in which the county agrees to give up its cross-claim against Corizon, so I could be further informed on that topic.
Okay, so this is identical to the previous one. The paragraph that you're referring is under the portion that says consideration payable by the county, paragraph 1, small b. The county agrees to take all steps necessary to dismiss all cross claims against defendant Corizon in this matter with prejudice and without cost to either party, period. The county agrees not to bring any additional claims in any court against defendant Corizon for the conduct described in paragraph 1 above recitals, and as I indicated, that is the lawsuit that's at issue. Incorporates it by reference. Is that the paragraph you want?
Yeah, it is, and you know, I recall when we authorized you to settle the case for $500,000 that the board specifically retained the right to pursue Corizon, and I was wondering if if this will mean in practical terms that the county government will not receive any defense or cost of defense or money from Corizon if we approve this agreement.
Yeah, that's correct. This is a resolution of it. This ends all of the litigation on all sides, any Corizon, the plaintiff, and the county.
But we have no agreement with Corizon.
That's correct.
Thank you.
So, are there any further questions for council? Commissioner Lakeman.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move approval of order number 15-08-05-01, a matter of authorizing the settlement agreement of the district court case Green versus Lane County.
Is there a second? Second. Discussion on the motion. Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, I want to thank Federal Judge McShane for his work today. It was the first time I met him. I really appreciated the time that he spent with us and in the process that we went through. This has been a difficult process because when you enter into an agreement with individuals and you believe agreement says a certain thing, and then you go through a process and find out that the agreement that you believe that you had is not being honored. And in this instance, that's kind of the challenge here, is that Commissioner Sorensen said that we entered into an agreement with Verizon that they were going to defend us and hold us harmless on I guess, cases. So, but in that being said, if we were to pursue this further, our legal counsel has told us that it's kind of an even chance that we would be able to prevail in this if we took it to a different process. And so, having that information and understanding that a lot of money is spent when attorneys are involved, a lot of time. This could be a pretty lengthy process. It could still go further. So I just really believe that it's in the best interest of the citizens that we put it behind us and use it as a learning experience, which I'm 100% confident that it's been that, and I don't believe we're going to see this happen again. So again, thank you to the judge for what I thought was a very good process. I really appreciated his involvement.
Any further discussion?
I'll just say, first and foremost, I appreciate the professional work of our legal staff, both Mr. Tapia and Mr. Dingle on this case, also the cooperation that we received from the sheriff and his staff. However, I won't be voting in favor of this measure, and I did feel when the board offered to settle this case with the plaintiff, that the plaintiff had in fact been damaged, and it was a good faith effort on the part of the county to try to settle a case with the plaintiff, and that's why I voted to authorize that. And but that was with the expressed view that the agreement that the county had made with Corizon would be we would be allowed to enforce that. And through a series of maneuvers by Corizon, the county's been maneuvered out of effectively pursuing that claim against Corizon, and therefore we're not going to get even the benefit of what I thought was a bad bargain in the first place. And what I mean by bad bargain in the first place is that when inmates are brought into county jails all over the United States, there's a high potential for disagreements about how they're treated. Typically, the county is trying to take as good care as possible, but it's often the case that people that are brought into county jails are violent. They are criminals often. They have substance abuse. They have mental issues. And when the county attempts, as it's done, to bifurcate its role as the government and as a medical provider, and bifurcated. When there's something bad that happens, as there was in this case, when there's something bad that happens, the plaintiff typically will not, the injured party won't simply say, gee, I think this is a medical negligence issue. I guess I better just sue the medical provider. No, they're going to say, wait a minute, something bad happened here. I don't know exactly what it was. And so they're going to invoke their rights against the county as well as the provider. So that's why when the board voted 3-2 to hire Corizon over my objection and over my no vote, I felt that this was going to go down the wrong route. So in fact, when the county administrator, not the current county administrator, his predecessor, when she said we would save money if we did this contract, we in fact are not saving money. In fact, it cost us a lot of money to do this. So I feel that this is not fair for the taxpayers to have to pay money when in fact Corizon owes the money. And I just don't think it's fair, and I don't think the board is making the right decision in capitulating to Corizon in this instance.
So I'd just like to add in here that, we thought we had a settlement, and there were some issues on the other end with the plaintiff and what they had signed with the other defendant in the case. I'm loath to give up our rights to sue for breach of contract with Corizon. I agree with Commissioner Sorensen in that. But like all legal matters, we are not 100% guaranteed to win that claim of breach of contract. They'll present their side and their facts, and we'll present our side, and we may not be successful at all. And what we're getting is a reduction in our settlement of 20% for an agreement not to continue to pursue Corizon because of a complication in the settlement that's between Corizon and the plaintiffs. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a pretty sizable chunk. It ends the bleeding. We're no longer involved in legal costs. We terminated our relationship with Corizon contractually. They no longer work for Lane County. And we'll be done. We don't sign this agreement and settle this lawsuit. We could spend well in excess of $400,000 ultimately in legal costs continuing the lawsuit in federal court. Who knows how much we might if we go to state court for breach of contract, and we could lose in both arenas and end up with significantly higher costs to taxpayers. I think this is a prudent move, and I think voting against it is just symbolic at this point, because I don't think any of us here are willing to move forward with the legal battle in a courtroom where Corizon's been removed from that legal battle and it's just Lane County and the plaintiff. And I feel that it's necessary to approve this settlement agreement for that reason. I believe that in the long run, if you settle the books over the number of years that Corizon's been a provider in the jail compared to what we were paying for medical provision, we save more than $400,000. So to say that it actually costs us money to have Corizon as a medical provider in the jail is not factually correct. So I will be voting in favor of the motion. Commissioner Farr.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairperson, and thanks for the input. I want to echo the thanks to Judge McShane. I think he did a stellar job of guiding us through the process today. Commissioner Sorensen alleges that Board of County Commissioners in a 3-2 vote made a mistake when it retained Corizon instead of continuing with its own medical services in the jail. That may not be true. There may have been some mistakes there, but the fact is, I believe that our jail is providing better medical care now because of the process that we just went through. I'm very confident that our sheriff and our chief deputy who are sitting here right now are wiser operators than than probably we've ever had in our jail before. So I think we're deriving benefits from the process that we went through just now. Benefits that will last a long time. For the near future, for the foreseeable future, we are going to be contracting for medical services in our jail. And my understanding, Sheriff, is that we have a new provider, that we essentially fired Horizon, who demonstrated bad faith, so to speak, in the way that they dealt with us in a host of different ways. And we're not the only ones that fired Horizon in the recent past. So I think Commissioner Sorensen makes a good point. I'm not here to argue whether or not the board on the 3-2 vote in whatever year it was, what year was it? 2011. That they made a mistake. The decision to make that, the choice to make the switch at the time was a well-founded choice, and we continue to work with a provider rather than attempt to provide the services ourselves. We're going to be doing that for the future, and we're going to be doing it in a better way than we were 2 years ago, a better way than we were a year ago. So I'm convinced, based upon input that I've received from the sheriff, that we'll provide higher levels of medical screening, behavioral health, and mental health screening. That our jail will actually be functioning on a more proactive fashion for the future than it ever has. I'm confident of that. So while I listened very closely and even wrote down what Commissioner Sorensen had to say, I don't 100% agree with him that we lost money in this. I believe that we gained far more than money can buy through the entire process.
Commissioner Light.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to echo the sentiments from Commissioner Stewart regarding Judge McShane. I completely agree. I want to thank our staff. Thank you for your outstanding professionalism through this process, and really, I just appreciate the work that you did on this particular case. But I think really where we are today, I think our legal counsel is really in a positive position right now, and I just want to say thank you very much on that. I thought it was interesting yesterday we heard a update from Chris Cadwell from ONC counties and talking about the latest incarnation of the PLM ONC plan and what kind of revenue that could potentially bring back to the counties, and very, very disappointing. Until Congress comes up with a different plan on how the timber counties are going to be, the kind of revenue stream that could come in place regarding the public federal lands that are in Lane County, or unless the new governor in the state legislature shows some courage and maybe move forward on tax reform, we're still in the same position, which means that not only will it be health care in Lane County jails, in the Lane County Jail, but it's obviously we may be looking at other areas we're going to have to put together some sort of public-private partnerships as well, and thinking out of the box. And so I would just continue to urge us to work with our delegation on how we can improve the revenue stream so that we can provide these critical services. If it was up to me, I'd love to have it that in where we were and how we were before I became commissioner, but I think at this point in time it's going to be very, very challenging, and I expect we'll be looking at different public-private partnerships moving forward and how we can continue to provide critical services here in Lane County. But I think based on what I have seen on the settlement, this is one where we could be going down this road for several years and costing an enormous amount of attorney fees, and not even coming to a conclusion that would ultimately cost the taxpayers in Lane County significantly more than what this settlement is today. And so I say thank you to our staff, thank you for Judge McShane for his level-headedness, I think, a pragmatic approach. And I'm going to be supporting this today. There just comes a time where you just need to cut bait and move on, and hopefully we can put this behind us. I think that hearing from Sheriff Trapp, Chief Deputy Fox, they feel like, just to the conversations from both of them, feel like that this is a new day, in a sense, moving forward with a new provider, and I appreciate that. So So I think overall, was it perfect? No. But I think does it, in a sense, cut our losses? I believe it does.
Is there any further discussions of the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
No.
Motion passes 4-1. Commissioner Sorensen in dissent. Is there any further business for the board today? Seeing none, I will adjourn us.